Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I have a requirement. Okay. I have a requirement. At work, they will say, can you extract data from this API and load it to database? Okay. They'll say, can you extract data from this API? This is called as an API. Okay. They'll ask, can you extract data from this and load it into our database? Okay. Let me post a link. Okay. So how do you do that? How do you do that? So let's get started. So this is the form of an XML, right? This is in the form of an XML, right? So we have this breakfast menu, and then you have food, 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 food. There are 5 records. There are 5 rows in my table here. I mean, there are 5 rows in my XML, but this XML is not on my computer, or it's not on the server. If this was on the server, it would have been very easy. I would have imported, we already did that, right? If it's on your computer, you can import this as you can import XML as a source, and you will have source definition, source qualifier, and target. You will literally have 3 transformations only. You won't have more than 3 transformations, right? Your mapping would be like this. Your mapping would be like this: XML as a source, and then your source definition, source qualifier, and target. Your mapping would be like this. But in this case, this is an online link, right? They will ask you, they will give you this link, and they'll say, can you please extract data from here and load it to target table? Okay. So how do you proceed? How do you proceed? Okay. So first, you will create a dummy source file. Okay, you'll create a dummy source file. So let me go to my C Informatica 9.6.1. So this is my C Informatica 9.6.1. So I'll click on SRC files, and I'll create a dummy file here. Do you see this? I created a dummy flat file. Okay, I created a dummy flat file. Okay, I cannot do this on my personal laptop because HTTPS transformation does not have a license, but it's giving me some certificate errors. Okay, so try to do this on IICS Informatica Cloud. This should work. Okay, so I have my source here. So I'm accessing my ETL server. My ETL server, I'm accessing, since my ETL server is not on my desktop, on my computer, they will give you a link, and you will have to connect to the ETL server, and you'll create a dummy file here. Okay, and that structure this is my desktop. Okay, this is my desktop. I will drag and drop here. Okay, then I will create the structure of the target. Okay, so I will say create table breakfast underscore menu API. And what are the columns I will have in this? The columns I will have is name. Let's copy out of this. I will have 4 columns. So first column name will be name. Second column name will be price. Third column name will be description. And then the fourth column will be called calories. The fourth column will be called as calories. Okay, description. So this one will be varchar 100. There is no varchar 2 in SQL Server. Okay, price will be, I'll put everything as varchar 100. Why is price? Okay, why is price varchar 100? because if you see price has a dollar symbol in it, so it's a varchar, it cannot be a number. Okay, so I have 4 columns: name, price, description, and calories. And then I also have 5 records here: 4 columns and 4 columns and 5 records. Okay, so let me create the structure here. There is no varchar2. Varchar2 does not exist in SQL Server. Okay, you get a red line. This one has no number field. Okay, there is no number field. There is only integer. Okay, so let me create this table. Okay, so let me look at this table. So table is going to be empty. Okay, table is going to be empty. Okay, table is going to be empty. So let's import the structure of source. So I'm going to import the structure of source. So I created that on my ETL server, and then so go to desktop. I created this. This is going to be, wait, desktop. Yeah, so this is my source. Okay, so next, import field names from first. Okay, let me cancel this. Okay, so I have a dummy source here, which I'm going to import. Next, finish. Okay, and this is number. Okay, it can be number or anything. I don't care. It can be anything. Say okay, Control S. Okay, let me import the structure of the target table. My target table is okay. This is my target table. Okay, Control S. So I will create a mapping here. M underscore API underscore MS SQL, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, so I'm extracting data from API and loading it to target table. And this is breakfast menu.
Hey guys, anybody having the issue with the lagging?
Yeah, I can.
Yes. Yes, it is working.
Okay, so let me drag and drop my source. So my source is this, and my target is going to be this one. Okay, this is my source and this is my target. Okay, now how do I extract data from here? How do I extract data from here? Okay, so they'll give you this link. Okay, they'll give you this link and you will have to extract data from there. Okay, they'll give you this link and you'll have to extract data from there. Okay, so how do you extract data from there? So next thing you will do is get an expression transformation, drag this into the expression. Okay, and this will not go out. Okay, you will just create an output port, and in this one type the column name as type and create this as an output port, and we want XML. Just type in XML here. Okay, so when you extract data from an API, you can return in the form of an XML, you can return it in the form of a JSON, or you can return in the form of CSV. 3 different. So right now I want to return XML. Okay, because I can use XML parser to load data here. Is that clear to everyone? I want to return data in the form of an XML. Okay, it's already XML here, but you can return it in JSON or or CSV. Okay, I don't have to type this, but I'm just doing it. So you can either type in and say JSON, or you can say CSV, comma separated file. Okay, so I'm going to say XML. Okay, then I'm going to do HTTPS transformation. Okay, what does HTTPS transformation do? Okay, it can make a web service call. What does web service call mean? It means when you want to extract data over the internet, you can send a request and extract data using this HTTPS transformation. Okay, so let me drag and drop this one here, and let me go to ports and call this as type. Okay, that link we will type it here. Okay, so we want it in the form of a XML. Okay, hold on 1 second. Underscore type XML. This one get input on this one. Okay, so let me, I actually did this before the class, so let me go back here. No, not this one. Okay, it's not type, you have to say underscore type. Okay, you have to say underscore type. Control S. Go back here and go to ports and say type. Okay, over here you have 3 different options: get, post, and simple post. Web services transformation, the HTTP transformation can do a get, post, or a simple post. This time what are we doing? We are getting data from the online API, right? So we will say get. Okay, then you will take that link, whatever that link was, the API link, and then you will just type in base here. Okay, you will type in here, this one will get changed. And what is this $$? What is this underscore type? Underscore type is XML, right? Do you see this underscore type is XML? That underscore type will be replaced as XML here. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. Sorry. So underscore type. So it's going to be a get. So underscore type. Okay. Now let's go back to our this one. So underscore type, and we said get, and we over here we typed in the link. Okay, what will be the output of this? Once we, so it will go here, it will go to this link and extract this data, right? So the output will be this in the form of an XML. Now, if I have an XML, how do I load it into the target table?
With
Okay,
parser.
with XML parser. Okay, with XML parser. So I will get, for that XML parser, I need to first create a, I need to, whenever I use an XML parser, I need to create an XSD, right? I need to create an XSD. So how do I create that XSD? So let me copy this. Okay, let me open a notepad.
Abdul, at work, are they going to provide us the XSD2 or just this
No.
one?
No, you have to create your own. See, it will take like 30 seconds to create an XSD here. So I will go here and file, save as, desktop, and then I'll call this as breakfast underscore API. Okay, I'll go here, select the second last option. Okay, and save it on my desktop. And I can get rid of, okay, I'm going to keep 2. Okay, and I can get rid of this. I don't need to type in Belgian waffles or anything. I just keep it AAA. And over here, I can keep it something like this. Over here, I can keep it something like this. Over here, I can put some numbers. It doesn't have to be. Over here, I can put, the reason I'm putting 2, I'm not 1, is because if you put 1, it will only load 1 record. If you put 2, it knows that there are multiple records in the source. So you need to have at least 2 here. Is that clear to everyone? Why am I using the same syntax 2 times? Because in my source, I have how many records? I have 5 records, right? So it has to know that it has to go back and bring more data in the XSD. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to save this. So I don't have any data here. I have AAA. I can get rid of this also. I don't need to have all of this. So I'm going to just have, I'm just going to have some data. This is mostly used for, we are just telling that incoming data is going to be in this format. So load data into this format. Okay, this is my XSD. I'm going to get rid of my XSD. I mean, I'm going to close it over, go here. I will get XML parser. Okay, and I will say this thing is existing on the database, on the desktop. So I will say breakfast underscore API.xml. I will say open, say yes, say okay. Why does it say that? Say open, say yes, okay. Yeah, let me open that, what I have on my desktop. What is the problem here? Breakfast underscore menu. I mean, there is nothing wrong here. What's the error message? XML parser to my desktop. Error line exception error occurred morning. The primary document could not be. Oh, sorry. I'm not even on my desktop. So. See users desktop. I'm picking up from the wrong location. So XML parser desktop. Say all files. There's something wrong with my.
Abdul, maybe this is the same issue that I had. You remember it should be like a one line.
No. I did this before class, so this should work. So did I save it on my desktop? Yeah, I have it on my desktop. So I will say breakfast underscore API. Okay, so I'm going to save this again, save as on my desktop. I'll call this as breakfast. Okay, I'll go here, second, select this one and say save. Okay, and I will get rid of. Okay, Control S, close. I will go here, XML parser. .xml. What is the one I created? Okay, I use this one and this one works. Okay, let me use this one, the one I created before. Okay, it's the same. It's I created it the same way. So it's called breakfast_xsd. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. How is this giving me error? I just did it here. So I'm loading data into this table. Let me try this. Okay, let me truncate this table. Okay, this table is empty. So if I run this workflow, it's still running. Okay. It is loading data here, right? I'm doing the same thing there. I'm not sure why it's not. So I'm loading data from API into a table. Then I'm also loading it into an XML. So if you go here, go to your target files. See at if I refresh this, 608, 608. So I'm loading data from online API into an XML in my target system, also loading data into this table here. And I'm trying to do the same thing there. Trying to do the same thing there. XML parser. Go to my desktop and how come all of them are giving me an error right now? None of them are working here.
What does it say in the error? I mean, it's not readable, but is it like can't find the file or?
How come it's working now? How come it's working now? That is very weird. XML parser. Okay. Go to my desktop. Okay. And I'll type in breakfast. Error at file line 0. An exception occurred. See user skip. I'm not even going to that location. Okay, breakfast underscore.
I think I had the same issues last time. If I don't remember, like if I don't have a mistake, I think it was the file issue. Like I did that one line. So do you want to try that, Abdul?
With what one line?
Like you know that the breakfast menu, all of them is next to the breakfast menu.
No, say
Single.
it's actually working. It's loading data here, right? It
But
is
it
loading
says
data
that,
here.
but it says that line 0, the other one is also 0, right? You see over there, it says 0 and 0.
Error at line 0, an exception occurred. Runtime exception.
Yeah.
The primary document entity could not be opened. No, it's going to see users key Abdul desktop SMS, but this file is not in. Say it's going to this folder. I don't know why it's going to this folder. It should.
Maybe you can say advanced options and go and choose the.
No. Do you see this? It's going to see users key Abdul desktop and then SMS. Okay,
Abdul,
let
so
me.
why don't you save that
Yeah.
XML to the SMS?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just take this. I'll take this and save it in. Oh, there was breakfast here already. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, let me get rid of that. Let me try now. Okay, that is very weird. Okay, so the output of this, so I'm going to, this one will send the output as like this. And this one, I want to load it into a table. So I will take the output of this and take this and map it here. Control S. So mapping, generate workflow. Say next. Finish. And here, let me log out and log in. When I try to do it on my personal laptop, it says certificates missing. So you have to add the certificates from this website. Something it said you have to right click certificates and copy the certificates and load it to. I think that's already done at my work. Okay, so go to workflows. This one. This is this thing. So first thing, I'll make sure that this box is selected. This is insert, configure object, stop on error is always 1. I'm reading, my source is a dummy. So it's present in C Informatica 9.6.1 SRC files and then UC path and then Abdul. It's in, if I go to my ETL server, SRC files, UC path and Abdul. I have dummy.txt, okay. This one. Abdul and then dummy.txt. One column and one row. Okay. So dummy.txt. I want to load data into my target table, which is present in this schema. Okay, I'll truncate my target table. Nice, okay. Control S. So I'm going to do this table is empty, right? We never loaded data into this table. Okay, this table is empty, so let me run this workflow. Okay, so 5 records got loaded. So if I go here and do select star on my table, I will see I will have all the data here. Is that clear? Our XSD is this one. This is our XSD. Okay, and but you need to have two. We need to have 2 child tags. Okay, and this is how you extract data from an API and load it to a table. Is this clear to everyone?
Abdul,
So
I will have one question. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. You finish after, then I'm gonna ask you.
no, go ahead.
So here, like the logical, I understand like what's going on, but my question is that what's the role of the source qualifier as a dummy? Because information comes from online, and then the HTTP transformation takes the online information. And
You cannot start a mapping like this, right?
excuse me.
You cannot start a mapping like this, right? You cannot
No, I
start a
know.
mapping.
No, I know that I know what are you doing here, but that's what I'm telling you. That like logically, the source here is the internet, like a web page, and then the XML parser is converter, and target is a file. So what's the role of the mapping? Like it's still the empty, like a dummy, like a flat file, right? So and as a process, I don't know like what these like a source is doing here.
Source is not doing anything. That's why it's called dummy. I still didn't understand your question.
Like I know that like as a format of the Powercenter, that I know that it has to be like a source and let's say the transformation target.
Yeah.
But here, this source is not doing anything. What's the role of this source here?
Yeah, even I'm saying it's not doing anything, because you cannot have a mapping like this, right? See, mapping is invalid. You need to have something as a table or a flat file or a something as the source.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Your actual code starts from here. See, this dummy is not even going out.
Yeah,
right?
that was what I was thinking. That like it's doing nothing here. Like
yeah, so it's just to have because if you don't have a source, your mapping will not start.
Just to complete the format, the Powercenter.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Yeah. Just to complete the format for Powercenter. That's it. That is all it's doing. It's not doing anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, where was my source? Where was my source? Okay. So this is clear to everyone. So first you will create a type. Okay. In HTTPS transformation, you will do get. You will get data from here, and then you will use the XML parser and load it to a table. If you don't want to load data to a table, okay, all you can do is you can create another you can create another output file here, target create, and then just call this as breakfast underscore menu, and then call this as flat file. All right, breakfast underscore XML. Just say breakfast underscore XML. Create. In this one, double click on this XML and make this as 99999. Yeah, apply. Okay, control S. So breakfast underscore XML is your target file. So go to my, okay, I can just take my data. I can just take my output from the HTTPS transformation and then just map it here. Okay, is that clear to everyone? So you have two targets. One is loading to table. If you're loading data to a table, you will need XML parser. If you're just extracting data from API and just load it into another XML, you don't need this. You can just use HTTPS transformation and XML. Go here, refresh. Where do you want that? So you have, let's give a path for the target. This one, I want to load it to TGT files, and we are not allowed, we don't even have access to TGT files. We cannot even create files in TGT files. I can only create it in my folder. So I will load it here. Okay, let me get rid of this. Okay, UC paths. I'll just say UC paths and .xml. It applies. Okay, control S. Start workflow. Oh, why did it fail? System cannot. Oh, because I deleted, right? I deleted the map from the mapping. I deleted the source. Now I have to give the right path again. Okay, so if I go here and if I refresh this, see, I loaded the data in an XML here also. I bought it from the online web link. I bought it into our ETL server. And the other thing I did is I loaded into the table also. Is that clear? How to extract data from API?
Yes,
Yes.
Abdul, you are extracting data from an outside source.
Yeah.
So, can there be any authentication issues like
Very
user?
good question. So, yeah. So, let me show you this. Oh, no, sorry, not this one. Sometimes this can be protected data, right? Not anybody. So at work, they will not just say give this link and somebody else can open also this link. Anybody can open, right? So I had to do this for one of my students from the previous classes. Let me show you. Yeah. So he did the same. We did the same thing. Dummy type. See, look at this. He had a user ID and password. So you had to pass this user ID, and this is not my. So they gave me a user ID and password, and I had to convert it into base 64 format. Then you have to pass that user ID. I don't know if I still have that link. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So okay, so you have to pass a user ID and password. Only if you pass user ID and password, it will let you log in. See, it takes some time. See, this is the actual XML at work. That this was my one of the students. He had this. So they will give you a user ID and then the password. Okay, you cannot take that user ID and password and just blindly put it here. you will have to go online and convert it base 64 encode. Okay, just open this. You'll have to type in your user ID and password. So Powercenter, if you just type in the user ID and password, it will not take it. Okay, you will have to type in the user ID, semicolon, and password. Okay, and encode. Why? Oh yeah, okay. It encoded and it gave me this. Now Powercenter can take in this one. So if you go here, do you see this X? So you have to type in single quote basic. This is the basic authentication. There are different kinds of authentication. This is basic authentication and QVB64. That's the same thing you have here on the QVBJXZ. QVBJXZ. Do you see this? So when they give you user ID and password, don't at work interview, if they ask you, don't just say we extracted data. They'll think it's very funny that you did not pass any authentication. I was going to cover that. So then the next thing you will create a dummy. So this is useless. This is useless. This dummy column is useless. You will type, and then put XML. Sorry, underscore type. Oh no, you can just type in type also. Authorization is basic, single quotes, and then you will type in this. Okay, and then this you will pass to the HTTPS transformation type and authorization. Go here, and say get the type. The authorization you will pass it as a header, and the type you will pass it here. Okay, and then you will get the XSD. They will provide you the XSD, or I created this XSD myself. It was very complicated. So because it had so many columns, then I loaded here. So this was the basic thing which I did and gave it to him. So you know what he had to do after this, he had to build SCD type 2. So this was his source. From here, he did a lookup on the target table and then checked if this vision identifier, link identifier was returning. If this is null, insert it. If this is not null and any of these columns were changed, then update it. So if in the interview, they'll ask you what any complicated mappings you have done, you can say, I extracted data from an API and did SCD type 2 on that. With authentication. Is that clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, there are many okay, the bad part about this is if somebody is running this, if somebody has access to session log, they can see that this is the authentication you passed, right? So you can, instead of base 64 encode, you can just go here and say base 64 decode. Okay, if you do the opposite, if you just type in this and say decode, you'll get the user ID and password here. Okay, I mean, this is not the best way of doing it, but it was not for me. So I gave it to him and they were happy. So he didn't know how to extract data from API. So I gave him this part. And from here, he did SCD type 2. After this, he did a lookup on this to check if the record, no, he had an expression and then he had MD5 column. He did not have MD5 column. He had MD5 column. And then he did a lookup on this. He joined on this one and returned. So he did SCD type 2 after extracting data from an API with authentication. So you have to do basic authentication. They'll give you user ID and password. You have to convert it to base 64. And in HTTPS transformation, simple get. The type you want is XML. Sometimes they'll say, can you extract data in the form of a JSON file? If it's a form of a JSON file, after HTTP transformation, you'll just have target file. You know what is JSON, right? So in JSON file, this is how data is loaded in JSON. So name colon. In NoSQL, you will have data in like this format. Temp ID 1. In NoSQL, you will have data in this format. Okay, this is called JSON format. If somebody says, I want data in JSON format, So you will simply say, instead of XML, you will say JSON and pass it to HTTP transformation. You won't have this. You will just load it to a flat file. If you want data in a table, you will use XML parser. So remember, I told you, if your source is on not an XML, then you will have to use XML parser. If your source is an XML, then you can simply use like this XML as a source. Your mapping will be literally 2 lines. Or you can extract data from, you can do this in 2 steps, which I don't prefer. You can extract data from API. You don't need this. You don't need this. Oh, sorry. You need this, and load it to an XML. Then this XML can become your source, and your mapping could be like this. But you don't need to do 2 steps, right? You can just do it in 1 single step. Is this clear? How to extract data from API and load it to a table, or load it
Yes.
to another XML? Okay, try this on your personal laptop. You will definitely get an error message. Okay. Sorry, what was I saying? Used basic authentication, base 64. Please write down detailed notes on this. Watch the recording. Please make all the notes on this. Is this clear to everyone? Can I proceed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. If you do it on your personal laptop, you'll definitely get that error message in certificates missing. I didn't have time to fix that. So I just show it on my part. Please try to fix this, or if you don't want, if you're lazy, just do it in Informatica Cloud. You don't need any certificates. All that will be already uploaded. Okay. So try to do this in Informatica Cloud. They have I think they have HTTP transformation for free. Yeah, they have the web services for HTTP transformation. Okay, you can use that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the second thing. The second thing, I wanted to show you basic HTTPS transformation. The second one, okay, so at work, this is okay, I did this just once in my life. I'm going to try my best to explain this. Okay. You have to make a web service call. So just now you made a web service call and return that breakfast menu data, right? You just made a web service call and returned the breakfast menu data, right? So now I'm going to make a web service call. Yeah, so you made a web service call to return this data, right? Using HTTPS transformation. Okay. Now, there is another scenario. At work. Okay, at work, you have at work in your source table, you have employee ID, name, dept ID. You want department name in your target. Department name, so you do not have another flat file or a table which has dept ID and dept name. So you can join on dept ID and return dept name. So somebody else will say, we will not send you the file. If you want the department name, send us the department ID. While you're running the mapping, we will return the department name during the mapping only. Is that clear? So you have to send a web service. You have to send a request. You will get a response. For example, your source file. For example, your source table has data like this: emp ID, name, dept ID, and you have 1, Abdul, 10. This is your table, okay? Or this is your flat file or table, anything. In your target, you want in your target, you want emp ID, emp name, dept ID, and then dept name. Usually you would join dept ID with something, some other table or flat file which has dept ID and dept name. You will join on this column. Suppose you have another flat file like this or another table. Okay, and over here you will have 10 comma IT. If you have this flat file, okay, if you have this flat file, you can join on this column and return dept name, or you can do a lookup, or you can do some kind of join. But you do not have this. The team which has the department information, they will say, okay, we will not send you that information. You will have to make a web service call. And once you make a web service call, you have to send us this department ID. You will have to send us 10. We will return IT. If there is 20, send us 20, and we will send you sales. Is that clear? You have to send a response and get a request back. So your response will be, this will be your response. What happened? So your response will be this. 10 will be your response. IT will be your 10 will be your request. This will be your response. So you have to send a request, and they will respond with this. Is that clear to everyone? So how do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? Okay, so there is, so I'm going to send a request 1, and I'm going to get ONE back. So this is another example. Okay, I have to send a request 2. I will get TWO back. Is that clear? There can be another response. So for example, when you go to a website, you enter your zip code 92618, and you can get the temperature back, right? Or the weather back, right? So when you go to weather.com, I know people who live on East Coast, they check weather.com every morning. I used to do that. So how does this work? So when you go here, and it says, if you want the data, if you want the weather back, so you will send a request. You'll send a request, and you'll get the response back like this, right? Same thing. You're sending a request 92618, and the response you're getting back is 92,680. So what is this doing? This is converting it's converting numbers to words. Is that clear to everyone? It's converting numbers to words. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, there are so many. There are like millions of web services online. You can type in the country code. It will give you the currency. If you type in the country code, it will give you the capital. You type in the country code, it will give you the population. There are millions of what you call web services built. So this is one web service I'm using. I am sending a response. I'm sending a request, and they're responding back with this. This is again an XML. Okay, let me close all of this. I don't need to have this many. Okay, now how do you make a web service call? There are 2 ways of making a web service call. One is SOAP, and the other one is REST. Okay, how do you make a web service call? There are 2 ways. One is, okay, how do you make a web service call? You have 2 ways, SOAP and REST. Okay, I'm going to cover SOAP. Okay, I'm going to cover SOAP. I've never worked on REST, so I'm not going to cover that. SOAP, again, you have So once you decided you are going to use SOAP web service call, you can, in Powercenter, you can do it with two ways. Okay, you can use web service. You can use web service consumer, for which you need a license, or you can use HTTPS transformation. Is that clear? So we are not going to be doing this. We are only going to be we are going to do SOAP. Best. This is actually better than SOAP. Okay. This is more flexible. This one only returns XML as an output. This one can return many formats. And this is the older version. This is the newer version. But nobody cares. Okay. So this is out of the question. We won't be doing this. We are going to do SOAP request and using web service consumer and HTTPS transformation. Is that clear to everyone? Okay.
Yes.
So when you are making a SOAP request using web service consumer, you need a WSDL. Okay. When you're using HTTPS transformation, you need SOAP. Clear? This is slightly complicated, but try this out on Informatica Cloud. Okay. Once again, I want to send a request and get a response back. I can either use SOAP request or REST. Okay, in SOAP, we are not going to be doing REST. We will do only SOAP. This was created by Microsoft a long time ago. Okay. Now in Powercenter, using SOAP, I can do web service consumer or HTTPS. Web service consumer, if I'm doing it with the help of SOAP, I need a WSDL. If I'm using HTTPS transformation, I'm using this. This is a dirty way of doing it. Like, it's not the most elegant way. This is a very elegant way of doing it. If you're using HTTPS transformation to make a web service call and return, it's huge. The mapping is going to be like extra. This is going to be source definition, source qualifier, and target. Okay, so let's do the SOAP request for web service consumer. Okay, where do I get the WSDL back? So go back here. Okay, see, the SOAP is already here. The SOAP request is already here. So HTTPS transformation, we can simply take this and post it and do it. Let's do the web service using a WSDL. Okay, they already provided you the SOAP. So how do you get the WSDL back? Okay, so go here, get rid of all of this. When you see WSO question mark, just type in WSDL. Okay, this is your WSDL. Okay, copy this WSDL. Go here, go to your sources, go to sources. Okay, just type in this, say open, say no. Okay, so do you want to convert number to words or number to dollars? It has two operations in it. So I want to convert number to words and number to words, right? So there are two ways. This SOAP is version 1. This is version 1.2. I don't care. I'm going to just use this one. Okay, say next and say finish. I already imported it before, so I'm going to just say replace. Okay, is this clear? This is how you import a WSDL. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so once again, you'll wherever you're passing this, you go here, get rid of these, and after the question mark, just type in WSDL. So this is your WSDL. So copy this and go to sources, import from WSDL consumer, and say open, say no, say I. So you can either convert number to words or number to dollars. I want to use number to words. You can also use this one also. This is the older version. This is the newer version. Okay, I don't care. I'm going to use just next. So finish. It says you already have one, so I'm going to just replace it. So I have this one. Is this clear? Now, how do I create a mapping? Okay, I'm going to create a mapping. M create. So M underscore web service consumer underscore flat file. Okay, click OK. So I'm going to drag and drop this, and my target is, let me use a dummy target. Which has not, I don't know if I have a dummy target. Let me create a dummy target, or actually, let me just create a table. Why not a table? Okay, so create table number in words. I will say var. Oh, sorry, number in words varchar. Let me say why does it say invalid? Create table name, number in words, varchar. Is it too much? Yeah, 999. Okay, let me just put, yeah, this should be okay. Okay, so let me import this number. Unfortunately, you cannot do this. You need a license for this. Okay, so this is my source, and my target is going to be number in words. Do you see how simple the mapping is? It's literally source definition, source qualifier, and target. But to use this, you need a license for it. Okay. Now, where do you pass 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever that is? Where do you pass at 1, 2, 3, 4? So you will go to web services. Sorry. You will go here, double click on this, go here. Do you see this? You can pass any number here. Do you see this number and number? I don't know if you guys can see it. So over here, let's pass 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's pass 4, 5, 6 here. Say apply. So you can parameterize this. Okay, guys, you can parameterize this. You don't have to hard code here. You can say $$ input and call this from a parameter file. You guys remember parameters, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to hard code 4, 5, 6. Right now I'm going to hard code because I'm not teaching parameters. So Control S. So just make sure that that is reflecting here. Yeah, it's reflecting 4, 5, 6. So let me create a mapping. Let me create a workflow for this. Next. Oh, my target is going to be DSLCC path tab. Okay. Hold on, I need to provide. I need to provide a connection for this. So what did I provide before? So mapping, generate workflow, next. Generate workflow. Next. Is it not working? Why is next? Generate workflow. Next. Yeah, let me just create it here. Workflow create. Oh, there's already, okay. I'm supposed to create a workflow for this. Mappings, generate workflow. Next. Okay, that name is already existing. Okay. So let me log out and log in. So first thing, I'll make sure that this box is selected. This is insert, and stop on error is always 1. Mapping, I'm loading data to target table, and then I'll truncate this. Let me run this. MWS consumer. Okay. Authentication failed. Okay, I need to pass in. So I'm using, shouldn't be using this one. Not sure if they changed the password for that. Nope. Okay, I already had one built before. This one was consumer. Okay, this completed, but why is, let's check, what am I passing as? Oh, it's empty. I don't need to pass anything. Okay. Okay, this one completed, right? So we passed 4, 5, 6. So if I do select star on this, it should say 456. It is empty. Other underscore test. Oh, my target. Oh, I selected the wrong. See, it's displaying 456. Okay. Now, if I want to pass some other value here, this is not the right way of doing it. You have to parameterize this. So instead of over here 456, let me say 99871. 99871 and control S. Mapping validate. No, not this one. So 99,871. So you send a request, you get a response back. But do you see how elegant the mapping is? It's literally nothing here. It's literally nothing here. You just have to import the WSDL as a source definition. Okay. And then you just map it to target, flat file, target, whatever, a flat file or a table or anything you want. The same thing if you're trying to do with the free thing, the free version. The same thing if you're trying to do with the free version. See, this is how it looks. You have a dummy, then you will write a SOAP request. The SOAP request, you can take it from, it's there on the thing here. So you can take this SOAP request. This is number to words, and this one is number to words, and this one is number to current. This is version 1.1. This is version 1.2. You can use 1.1 or 1.2. This is the so sorry, this is the request, this is the response. Okay, we will just take this, we'll just take this and paste it here in the expression. You create an output port in the expression, call this as SOAP. Okay, pass it to the XML parser. Your output is going to be this format, right? Your output is going to be like this. So create an XSD and then pass it here. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, right now I'm going to pass the value 555. Okay, say okay, say apply, say okay, control S. This one you should be able to do it on your computer. Okay, so I'm loading data to a table called Khader underscore test. Let me HTTPS transformation. So refresh this, validate. Once again, you will never hard code. You will never ever hard code things like this. You will parameterize this, call this as $$ something. Actually, I did it before. I parameterized this as $$ number, and then okay. So anyways, so what is there in Khader underscore test right now? Let's see. So for both the mappings, I have 99861. So I loaded 555. So I'm going to start task. So it will send 555. It will send a request 555, and it will return a response 555. So go here, 7 o'clock. Okay, it completed. So if I execute this, I should see 555. And I'm getting 2 responses. Did I not truncate? Okay, for some weird reason, I'm receiving 2 responses, but yeah, we can fix that. So if I go here and say, if I go and say 77777, say okay, say apply, say okay, control S, So 77,777. I don't know why we are receiving 2 responses back. Is that clear? So this mapping is pretty easy. I mean, this mapping is slightly bigger than the other one. So the other one, see, it was just like source definition. When you use web services as a, when you use WSDL and you use web services consumer, your mapping is literally going to be this. But if you don't want to use the paid version, you can use the free version, dummy, the same thing, whatever we did for the previous one, HTTPS XML, and then a target. The XSD will be just very simple, 2 tags. In this one, you will say simple post. Previously, when we were extracting data from API, we were saying get, right? Remember that? We were getting data. Over here, we are posting data. We are sending and getting it back. So remember that. The HTTP transformation over here is going to be simple post. The SOAP request which you created here, you will pass it as input, and then the content type and the SOAP action. Okay, content type is going to be XML. The SOAP action is going to be number 2 words. Okay, take the output. If you want to load this to a flat file, you don't need XML parser. You can directly load it to a flat file, like how I did here. Like how I did here, table and flat file. This is clear to everyone.
Yes, it is. But as you're saying, it's not that oftenly used, is it?
I said I didn't use it. Instead, I didn't use it. You guys might use it. If you're lucky, you might use it. Okay. So the 3 things which we covered so far. Let me open my HTTPS unfortunately was giving me an error, certificates missing or something. And web services, it's not free. They won't go into much details. Nobody asked. They might ask you questions, but be prepared for that. Just make some notes on that. See, this is a tool we use to send a request and see if it's working. I mean, these days it's built in the web browser only. These days it's built in the web browser only. If you send a response and if you send a request and get a response back, but you can also test it out in this tool called SOAP UI. Okay, you can just send a request, something like this. Request is invalid. I don't know why request is invalid. Let me try this. Number 2 words, 111. Invalid document. Okay, I'm not sure about this, but most of them these days they have the thing built in. So Dave 44, guys, try this out. Both of them in Informatica Cloud. You don't need any licenses. You don't need any certificates. Everything is built in there. That's one thing I like about cloud. You don't have to worry about all this extra stuff. So I showed you how to extract data from API to table. Okay, I'll post the link here. link here. And then I also showed you send SOAP request using web what did I say? Web consumer and HTTPS transformation. Okay, then I'll post the links for that as well. You guys can try it out using Informatica Cloud. Yeah, so if you want to convert this to a visual, just go all the way back. Just type in WSDL. Okay, you can just use this in your web services consumer. Okay, and go back here and SOAP request using web services and HTTPS transformation. For web consumer, you send a WSDL, the SOAP WSDL. Over there in HTTPS, you use the raw WSDL, the raw SOAP, right? You take the SOAP as is, and you take the SOAP request as is, and post it in the HTTP in the XML here. Okay, you take the SOAP as is and post it here. But in web services consumer, you import the link. It's both or more or less doing the same thing. You import the link, it will have the SOAP request here. Okay. Over there, it looks very clean, just one link. Source definition, source qualifier, target. Same thing, you don't display it as a link. You actually type in the entire SOAP here. Doesn't look that good. So when you compare with a link and actual code here, this doesn't look that good, but nobody cares. As long as they're able to send a request and get a response back. So your source can be employee ID, name, dept ID, and you will have dept ID here. Okay, employee ID, name, dept ID, employee ID, name, dept ID, employee ID, name, dept ID. In the SOAP request, okay, in the SOAP request, you will not say 777, you will say dept ID here. Okay, when you send dept ID, they will send the department name back. It's like joining two objects here. Okay, and over here, then you will have all of the columns here, employee ID, name, dept ID, and from here you will bring out dept name. The output will be dept name. And then you will load it to target table, employee ID, name, dept ID, and dept name. Is that clear to everyone? This is the same example. You go to weather.com and you type in, you send a request. You'd send a request. This is my New York zip code. You send a request and you get a response back. Okay, you send a request, you get a response back. This is the response back. Okay, the same logic you're calling in through Powercenter. You're sending a request and then you get a response back. Anybody has any questions? And in this one, you'll use the actual SOAP. There's a lot of videos online. Please watch those videos. So we are done with all of these. Transformations. We're done with all of these transformations, right?
Yes.
Does anyone know Java in the class? If you know Java, you can write Java transformation. If you know Java, you can use Java transformation. Okay.
Abdul, do we have still
These ones
left
have been.
over the topics, or we are going to the interview questions?
That's it. Designer is done. Workflow manager is done. Okay. Workflow monitor, there is nothing to show. Repository. So in repository manager, I will show you how to deploy code from one environment to another environment. So basically, why I use why do I use repository manager? For example, if I want to find out all the workflows I ran on day one, I don't see it, right? I only see the last few runs. But repository manager will give you all the workflows which ran from day one, right? So if I double click on workflow logs or double click on session and get session logs. So this one I ran it on 0801. Okay, let me pick up this one. This is a first workflow I created. $625. The first workflow I ran was 1.5 months ago, 625, right? But when I go here and if I click on, I don't even see that here. Yeah, I see it here. So if I click on this and say get previous runs, if I double click on WF underscore test, see it only double click on, see it only shows me from 731. This will not show me the all the runs. This will show me, if repository manager will show me all the runs, how many records it loaded, why it failed, all of those things it will show you, right? This is mostly this is what I use. This is also used to deploy code from development to production, development to QA and QA to production. You can just drag and drop. You can make sure that all the objects are checked in, and then you can just, you will have another repository here. Like at my work, I have, see at my work, I have, see this is production, right? This is prod. I have development here. For example, I have development here. So I can take any of these workflows from here and then drag and drop all the way in that corresponding folder here, the production folder. Okay. Usually we don't do that. Usually you cannot deploy code to production. Okay. Usually what we do is from development, we load, move code to QA, and then the Informatica admin will move code to production. So what we do is once our code is all working fine, we export it from repository manager. We will go here and make sure everything is checked in, and we export this. We export this to our desktop, and in ServiceNow we will create a ticket. In ServiceNow we will create a ticket and say, please attach this, please move this to production. And the Informatica admin will move the code to production here. If you want to do it between dev and QA, you can just drag and drop this workflow into that QA repository. Okay.
So
And the other,
the question I have, when you export, it only creates one file or multiple files?
I already showed this before.
Okay.
Who
For the
remembers?
workflow. Okay.
Who remembers when I exported, and then remember I imported the I exported the workflow on my desktop, and I imported, I think Yasser or somebody, Zoeb, somebody asked, how do you export and import? Remember I imported the Powercenter, I exported data from workflow from Powercenter as an XML. Okay, I'll do it again. Make sure your code is checked in. Export desktop. Always do it from repository. If you do it from designer, you will only get designer objects, source, mapping, target. If you do it from workflow manager, you will only get session and workflow. If you do it from repository repository manager, you will get source, mapping, target, source definition, session, and workflow, everything. So you export it like this. This is your Informatica mapping. Remember, I opened this and went through everything like stop on error and all those things. You can tell all the transformations which you're using. See, this is my transformation expression CA, EXP and Y. Okay, I'm using a union transformation. My source is called Acer_CA, right?
Abdul, hello?
Hold on one second. So all the objects which you see here are, you can tell from here. The stop on error, everything this is how your workflow looks like when you export it as a, so you can attach this in email and send it to somebody else in the class. If they import this, their mapping session workflow will all be created. I already showed this in detail. Please watch the old recordings. Yeah, what was the question?
Okay, so question is, can you show the store procedure as well?
No, I'm not going to show stored procedure. Please watch recordings.
Which
I already
record?
said, please watch recordings, guys. I literally showed every single transformation in here.
I mean, you didn't show the store procedure. You said you can look at the videos in the YouTube, and then I
Yeah.
looked at the videos and I couldn't find a very useful one. That's why I'm asking, can you show, please?
No, I'll give you the video. You can watch it. This one is good. Please watch this. If you have any questions, then reach out to me. Watch the stored procedure transformation. The other thing I did not show and which I will not show is how to update records without using update strategy. Show interview question. Without any question, they will ask that. How to update records without using update strategy. Okay. I know nobody did that. So let me share that link as well.
This interview question I had posted in WhatsApp also. Very important.
Yeah, very important. Every single interview they'll ask this. Update without update strategy. So this guy is good. So watch this one. We are done with mapping, designer, workflow manager. I showed all of these things.
I think Abdul, you took note on your, where is the interview questions? You took some notes that you're gonna tell us.
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot to save it, I think, because
I think you saved it. Where is the interview questions? And all the way down, you copied all of them.
Yeah, I opened this on Sunday. I couldn't see it. Maybe I didn't save it. Let me open it again. So we have 3 more classes.
Hey Abdul, what's Salesforce? I mean, I just saw the icon, so I was curious.
I don't have, Ramil, I don't have them saved here for some reason. I had it saved here, right? And then I don't think I didn't do Control S and then I closed it. Yeah, I lost all those questions. I remember those. It's okay. I'll cover it in the next class. So Salesforce is a CRM tool.
Abdul.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the topics one by one, and you can take a note now?
And I remember. It's okay. I'll cover those.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember those. So Salesforce is a CRM tool. Unfortunately, I forgot my password. I could have showed this in detail. So when you call, okay, when you call a dealership, a car dealership, okay, so this is how it works. When you call a car dealership, okay, and you ask for a price on a Honda Civic 2020 Honda Civic, okay, that person will take down your first name, last name, email address, phone number, address, okay, and they'll save it, and then they will give you a quotation, right? After 2 days, they will call you back again and say, hey, are you interested in buying this? So if you say yes, they will move your your contact gets moved as an to the next stage. If you say no, they will end your contact. They will end your information over there and say not interested and close the ticket, close the thing. If you say yes, they will say, okay, please come in and we would like to talk to you. So they would move into the negotiation phase. Then once they sell it to you, they say close phase, the successful closure. So all those like step by step. So it's very, there is no competition for this. Salesforce has no competition as a CRM tool, customer relationship management. Okay. So when you go to designer, you can import data from, so, okay, sorry, let me go back here. I wish I had my, oh, it's logging in. I hope it logs in. No. Okay, so it's a free. Actually, I can create. You can create a free trial. No. Okay, so once all that information is entered there, you can extract data from your Salesforce can become your source. Okay, do you see import from Salesforce? You can import data from Salesforce and load it to database. See, Salesforce is used as a front-end tool. If after 1 month, if you want to find out how many sales, if a manager wants to find out how many sales Abdul did, how many sales Ramil did, how many sales Yasser did, he would have to check, he or she would have to run a query, right? From the tables and say, so Salesforce is the front-end tool. It is used for selling. Okay, it is used for selling data. It is used for selling products. It stores only customer information for that day or the sales information for that day. Just like when you go to Walmart and you try to buy something, the cash register, right? It will not store like last 10 years of data, the cash register, right? So there are, okay, that's actually a good question. There's like two different databases, OLAP and OLTP. Interview question. Okay, sorry, OLTP should come first. This is OLTP is online transactional processing, and this is online analytical processing. So transactional, the examples for OLTP is ATM, the cash register at Walmart, or Salesforce, or PeopleSoft. This is our front end. This is a front end tool. What does front end tool means? It is customer facing, right? This is customer facing, and these are supposed to be very fast. These are supposed to be very, very fast. Why? When you go to withdraw, when you go to an ATM to withdraw cash, you don't want to wait for more than 60 seconds. When you're at the cash register, you don't want to wait for more than 10 seconds to swipe your card and make a payment, right? When you're trying to enter customers' information, you really don't want, you are more interested in getting a payment on all those things. So these are supposed to be very fast. Okay, so this does not have historical data. An ATM will not have your historical data, right? Can you check in ATM, like what was the last transactions you made last year? You cannot see that, right? It does not have historical data. It only has current data. right? When you go to cash register, a cash register cannot say what was the purchase you made 2005 in May, right? You cannot do that. If you want to see what was the product you purchased in 2005, you have to log into your bank account, scroll to all the way to 2005, and open May. You have to open the thing from May. You have to open your account, the bank statement from May, right? So all of these things are front end. These are very fast. They have high memory. They have high memory. Like their RAM is very high. They are very fast. No historical data. No historical data, and no historical data. Okay, and this is usually a front end system. Okay. What is PeopleSoft? This is the front end we use at our work. PeopleSoft is whenever we hire an employee, we would have to send all our documents to the HR, scan and send it, and they would enter our information here. First, they will enter a person information, then they will enter a job information. First, you have to create a person, then you have to assign a position. You have to assign a position to that person, then you have to assign a job to that person, then you have to assign a department, then salary, then benefits, then leaves, benefits and leaves, and then address. I guess address comes here, phone number, address. So you have to enter all of this information here, right? Now, OLAP, the example for this is our data warehouse, Oracle database, or all these databases, Oracle database, SQL Server database. For example, if you want to find out all the sales which an employee did in the month of June in 2019, you can query this. If this is slow, it's okay, right? This is mostly used for analysis, how much sales each salesperson did, right? Over here, this is supposed to be fast. Nobody cares. Nobody is going to use this. So if you do not have any history here, the database is going to be very small, right? When you have a lot of history, see, for example, a table has one record and a table has 10,000 records. OLTP will have that current day's information. Okay, OLAP has historical data. Okay, this one. So tomorrow when you go to, so when a salesperson goes to Walmart tomorrow and they open the cash register, they won't have any information for that day. Till 5 p.m. they will enter information, all the sales they do, and they send over the files to ETL team or data warehouse team. They will extract data. They will take data from OLTP and then load it to OLAP. Every day they'll take data from here and load it here. So over a period of time, you will build history here. Okay, so this is supposed to be very fast, very lightweight, and no historical data. Over here, it can be slow. You don't care. This has historical data. Okay, and this is not a front-end system. This is a back-end system. Okay, let me show you something here. Give me 1 second. I want to show you something. Then we'll end the class. That's a good question. I did not even have that on my list. Okay, so this is Adil's company. Okay, his company's name is techmatic.info. Okay, contact us if somebody is interested. So you will say, my first name is Roger, last name is Abdul. This is a customer facing tool, right? A customer is interested. So they will say, my company name is something XYZ. Okay, my email is this one. And messages, please email me course. Please email me course details. something like this. So this is my front end system. I will send message. Okay, it says data submitted successfully. I have access to Adil's website. I mean the database. So when you enter information here, this information goes and gets stored in the database here. See, please email me. This is my database. This is a table called contact us. Whenever somebody enters information in the front end, it goes. So this is my OLAP, and this is my OLTP. Okay, so now at the end of the day, I will extract data from here and load it to my database. Okay, and then I can say I contacted this person or like whatever. Is that clear? This is how so if you guys try to log in here, you won't see it, but I have access to him. So yeah, so this is like your cash register, and at the end of the day, I want to see how many people contacted us, so I can based on the date, I can see who contacted, what is my information, and all these things. Is that clear to everyone? So Salesforce is just like a tool which is used by salespeople to prospect for new clients when they want to sell. It has like different stages. Okay, it has different stages. I'll try to reset my password and show it over the weekend. You can move contact persons from one stage to another stage, from the second stage to third stage to fourth stage. After you sell products, you will have another option to sell other stuff to the people. If you're trying to give a discount, which is more than what the company permits, it will go to the VP for approval. It has all those things built in. Okay, just watch some videos on YouTube. Okay, the best thing is you can extract data from Salesforce. You can extract data from PeopleSoft. You can extract data from PeopleSoft or Salesforce. Good. The best thing is I'm going to show this. Create an account on Salesforce. Okay, we'll enter some information there, and then we will try to extract data from Salesforce and load it to data warehouse here. If you go to administrator, you will have a free connector for Salesforce. Let me actually activate that right now, so it gets activated right away. But so add on connectors. Oh, why are there so many? Workday financial. Okay, I don't need this. Analytics. I think I need Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud, Salesforce connector. Use this connector to securely read data from or write data to Salesforce. Okay. This is a free trial. You should be able to run tasks using this. So with this one, I can connect data. I can extract data from Salesforce or write data back to Salesforce. Okay. I'll start this one also. This is also free. I don't care. Okay, the other thing is I'm going to take one class on all these cloud technologies. So how to extract data from Snowflake and load it here, how to extract data from flat file and load it to Oracle database, or how to extract data from AWS and load it into my Oracle database, how to extract data from MongoDB and load it to Oracle database, or how to extract data from MongoDB and load it to ETL. Should be able to extract data from anywhere and load it anywhere. Okay. So the other day I was practicing Oracle database to AWS, AWS to Oracle. So create your free accounts. Create your free accounts on AWS, Snowflake, Informatica Cloud, Salesforce. These are all free. Only AWS needs a credit card, but unless you do like millions of records every day, they won't charge you. For first 12 months, it's free. So S3 is the file system. So these days companies will create C Informatica 9 server SRC files, TGT files, all of that. S3 is the file system. For example, you have something like this, C Informatica. This is the file system, right? All the file system, SRC files, TGT files, lookup files, workflow logs. This will be created on the cloud here. So I extracted data from HR employees and loaded into AWS S3. Okay, if anybody wants this data, they can connect to this. They can connect to this and load data into their database. So you should be able to extract data from anywhere and load it anywhere. So I created one empty flat file here. I created one empty flat file and loaded this to my database. I don't know which table. Yeah, this one.
Okay, so this is how these companies sell clients' data to other companies.
Client's data.
I mean, yeah, usually, if they just gather data on certain things,
No, this has nothing to do with selling your information. So
like customer trend.
if a company, so why do companies use AWS? Because in one screen, you have file system, you have database, you have ETL tool, you have this one, virtual machine. If you're running a company from this one screen, you can run your company. You can create user IDs and set passwords using IAM. You can do everything here. So you need Oracle database. You don't need Informatica Powercenter. You don't need a server. Everything is on the cloud here. If you want to buy a server, if you want to buy a file system, just click here. If you want a database, just click here. If you want ETL tool, just click here. If you want reporting tool, just click here. The AWS Glue is there. If they have SQL database, NoSQL database, graphical database, they have so many. For example, DynamoDB. This is their
Abdul, what's the Amazon's ETL tool called?
Glue.
Oh, Glue. Okay, but I'm guessing it's not as powerful as Informatica.
No, actually, it's more powerful than Informatica. It's just that this is new. Nobody actually knows how to use it. No, you don't see a lot of requirements, but it will come. Like how these are very popular, this and this. Eventually, this will also come. This actually came out very recently. So, see over here, you have to drag and drop filter transformation. You can drag and drop union. Over here, there is no drag and drop. You have to write every single thing by yourself. You create workflows, jobs, connections, add a job. So everything you have to write here. Okay, I covered this over the weekend. I think you missed that class. Everything you have to okay, this is how your ETL code will look like. So in NoSQL, this is how your data looks like. Key value pair, key value, key value. Okay. How do you write your ETL? I was doing some. Wait. I think is this the notes I was typing? Unix autosys report. No, not that. Let me show you and then. Yeah, I don't know where I put it. No, I don't remember where I put it. So over there, you cannot just drag and drop your source. You have to write code to extract it. Okay. So you cannot just drag and drop filter. You have to write the actual code for filter. So that is, it will get popular. So that's the reason I was telling over the weekend. Once you get like 6 months of experience working as Informatica developer, you have to move on to these tools. Okay, I'll show you basic things here, like how to extract data from S3, load it to database to S3, and Snowflake to this one, of some basic ones using Informatica Cloud. But the problem is this is only available for 30 days. Okay. Any other questions? I hope you guys are practicing. I'm going to start mock interviews from Monday onwards. Okay. So I'm going to create a. Let me just do that right now. So I'll create a Excel here, and please write down your names here. Which days you're open. I'll create it here and upload it to. So please write down. I have 2 time slots every day. Okay, so I will say I'll upload this. So starting August 10th. Okay, 08. So 08. And so starting from August 10th, we will have mock interviews, two time slots every day. One is my friend is in East Coast, so he's going to take interviews. I don't know, 7 to 7:30, 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8, probably 7 to 7:30. These are all EST timings. I'll make this more detailed. Okay, and this is for the first. This is for the first round, and this is round 1. Okay, and then I want this round 1. I want candidate names here. Okay.
Are there going to be 2 rounds?
Yes, 2 rounds for everyone, but each day he will take only 2 interviews. So enter your information. Then August 10th, August 11th. Yeah, everybody will get two rounds of interviews. So, yeah. So.
And that specific time AM?
Yeah, these. No, these are PM. This is all
PM.
EST timings. Sorry, EST timings. New York. He's in Florida, so your interviews will be from 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8, round 1, and
PM, right?
Yeah, PM. PM. He'll be at work. So please, I'm going to upload this and upload your names here, and then I will have round 2, just like this. I will have round 2, and then this one will be not August 10th. This one will be 17th.
And round 2 is something that we need to work on, like for
No,
example,
it's
if
just
we
that.
do bad on.
So he has his own way of doing things. I don't question that, because he thinks that round 1, he wants to go easy on you guys. He wants to ask like simple questions. Round 2, he will ask like all the tough questions here. So he's going to take interview and provide me feedback for everyone. Like I think I showed you guys, right? Yeah, he'll provide me feedback for like something like this. He sends me an Excel. I have recordings also, recorded classes for Fahad and everybody. He sends me an Excel saying that this person answered this. Where is that feedback? Okay, for example, this one. So this guy already got a job. He's working. So see, everything was good. Okay, he did not know difference between row ID and row num. He did not know. Okay, so the questions was recent project. How do you load data from multiple flat files? So list file and indirect load. What is the limit? What is the limit to the number of source and target you can have in a mapping? No limit. You can have as many sources and as many targets. Active and passive transformations. Difference between connected and unconnected maplet. Explain some of the job workflow failures. How do you delete duplicate row using Informatica? Parameters and variables, shortcuts. Suppose we have two source qualifier connected to target. How do you target load plan? Difference between router and filter, joiner transformation and different joins, difference between row ID and num. Difference between delete and truncate, which one is faster? How do you connect database A to through database B using? Who can answer this?
DB links.
Very good. It using DB links. So this guy did not even have second round. He got a job before the second round. Ala, for some reason, he dropped out. I want to show you one second round and then I'll end the class. This person got a job. He came back. He said it's too far for me. This guy knows everything. Now he's struggling to. He had a very good job, very good billing rate, the highest. But then he came back saying that he cannot stay away from his family. It was very disappointing. So, see, the first round is very simple. Same thing. The first round was very simple. Look at the second round. Why do I not have anybody's second round? Okay, so second round will be SCD type 1, type 2. What is static dynamic lookup cache? What is performance tuning and all those things?
Abdul, recent project, that question you see everywhere.
Yeah, so recent project is...
Just take anything.
So, okay. Give me 1 second. So, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I got disconnected. So the recent project thing, let me show you that. I think somebody else asked me this before. See, go to users, to desktop. No, not this, not this. Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, I think
Can
you
you guys
told
see my
us you would upload it at the end. This you
Actually,
showed it
let
to
me
us
upload
once.
it. I'll upload it. I don't have a problem. I can upload it now. It's I just didn't want to do it before, so you guys don't.
Abdul, the mock interviews is going to be SQL, Informatica, everything, right? It's not just Informatica.
Nothing. It's going to be a mix of everything. Whatever we did for the past 2.5 months.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, please do well in that. Otherwise, there is no point in doing your marketing. We keep getting calls saying that candidate is not good. I don't want to keep hearing that. It doesn't look good. Okay, enjoy. Take a look at it. Starting Monday, You'll get calls. I'll let you know. Okay, I'll upload that Excel. So you please enter that information over the week. Not over the weekend. Actually, do it in the next 2-3 days. So he's well prepared. We'll have 2 interviews every day, and I want everybody to have at least 2 rounds. And we will start your marketing. I want to probably start it from 17 as well. Your second round of mock interviews will start from here, but we'll start your marketing by the time your resume gets submitted, and then you get a call back. It will already be like 2-3 days. So from 17th, we want to start your marketing. So Adil will join the call on Sunday, and he'll explain you all the marketing progress. So he'll join the call around 1 p.m. my California time. So the class ends at 1. He'll join around 1, and he'll take around 15 minutes to explain how the marketing works. Okay. Please practice all the web services.
Thanks, Abdul.
Yeah, all the HTTPS and extract data from API and all those things. Okay. I'll see you guys on Thursday then. Please end the class.
Okay, thank you.